Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Today's guest is a longtime friend of mine. We met probably around 4 or 5 years ago, downtown St. Pete. His name is Matt Maddix. He has a son named Caleb Maddix, and they're entrepreneurs and they're speakers. And Caleb's been a big time online influencer for many years now. He's only 18 now. I think he started getting popular when he was around 11. But Matt, his father, was the guy that was obviously a big influence on Caleb, and he's a good dad. He's a good dude. He can really talk a lot. He has a ton of passion. Something interesting when I first met them that I found out about Matt is he would always pay Caleb to read books. So chores were required. He didn't get paid for chores, but Caleb would get paid. I think it was something like $20 for every book he read. So when Caleb was a really young guy, he would read as much as possible, right? So because when you're 11, 12, 13 years old, $20 is a nice little chunk of cash. So he has good ideas like that. He's a big believer in good mentorship and being a good father. And we talked a lot about modern masculinity and modern religion. And overall, it's just a really good, interesting, passionate convo. So I do hope you enjoy. And also, if you have been listening to these episodes and you've enjoyed them, if you can, subscribe and rate 5 stars on iTunes and share these shows with your friends too. So hope you enjoy the show.
This is Openly Outspoken with Jeremy Adams, where differing opinions are not only accepted, they're encouraged.
We're live, man. We're live.
Okay.
So what's up? Thanks for coming on. Good to see you.
Good seeing Jeremy Adams. I want to start off by saying this real quick. I was thinking about you this morning, and I was thinking, dude, Jeremy Adams, anytime I've ever hung out with you, I learned something new about business. I had the time of my life. We gut laugh, and we have some good chats. I mean, we actually have some good life chats. And, dude, we've been all over America together having fun and just doing some events, and it's awesome seeing you, dude. I'm so proud of what you're doing, man. I'm excited to be on your podcast.
Yeah, thanks, man. We've known each other for quite a bit. We hung out a bit when I lived in St. Pete. We actually went out New Year's Eve one night, if I recall,
Dude,
right?
We rung in a New Year together. You remember that?
That was crazy.
Dude, do you miss St. Pete?
I do. I moved out of St. Pete just because we're exiting our business with Kevin, and Max was here, and when we were starting Unicorn, it made more sense for me to be in Orlando at the time. But I want to buy a house on the water probably by end of year next year, and it'll probably be in St. Pete or somewhere similar to that.
Dude, I feel we'll all be back because Caleb's trying to find a place on the water, and so am I. Like, my standard is this. I'll go back when I get a mansion on the water, because otherwise I've already had everything else. And plus, dude, I've been staying in this mansion here in Scottsdale, dude, and there's something about the energy of just that space, especially being in the mountains. You know, dude, listen, nature is powerful. And I taught Caleb at a young age. I'm like, dude, spend the majority of your time by the water or in the mountains. And so we're daily, dude. We're daily in the mountains, or, when it was St. Pete, I was daily by the water, dude, because I don't think people realize how important it is to get out in nature and reconnect spiritually, emotionally, and I love it, dude. Are you a hiker, Jeremy?
I'm not a big hiker, but I don't know if you can tell, I have been out in the sun a lot lately. I've been getting some sun. Being in the sun's a happy spot, bro. Like, that's why I would move back to St. Pete and get that house on the water. Remember we were looking at that mansion on the water that one time?
Still probably could. Are you dating somebody now?
I'm not dating anybody now.
Neither am I, dude. So I don't see why we should maybe look at doing something like that, because one mastermind a quarter and it pays for itself. But we'd probably do one mastermind a month or some kind of meetup. The ideas we had were genius.
Yeah, I'll see how I feel about the mastermind. Now I just want to buy a place that I can just sleep in and hang out and have people over. But maybe we'll do a mastermind there too.
By the time this podcast is over, man, we're going to have you speaking on stages. We're going to have you doing Facebook Lives. You're going to be like making Gary Vee look lazy, dude.
I don't know about that. I don't know if that makes sense for me. The podcast makes sense for me, right? Because we're just having dialogue. It's natural, just like kind of how our conversation's always been. So for my listeners that don't really know a lot about you, Matt, share a little bit about yourself. What have you been up to lately, too? It's good for me to hear,
I'll
too.
tell you real quick. I just turned 45 on Sunday.
Happy belated.
Had the best birthday I've ever had. You want me to walk you through it real quick?
Yeah, why was it the best? That's a big claim.
It was the best birthday I've ever had in 45 years. Now, I just want to say real fast, Jeremy, to everybody that's listening, this is openly outspoken, right?
Are you asking me? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So I do want to talk to your family. First things first. Jeremy Adams, I've known probably a good 5 years, but I've known him in deeper places. I've watched him in business deals with multimillionaires. We've done some business deals together. His reputation, Jeremy Adams has probably one of the best reputations of any human I've met. He's just a man of integrity. He's a man of class. You know, dude, you're the real deal. What you see is what you get. Plus, dude, as kind of like a friend, a mentor, a brother, dude, you're operating at a smooth level lately. You've always been smooth, even in like business. Like I've actually called you for business advice a couple of times, and you would be one of my top 3 to 5 go-to people that I would call if I needed just some good business advice. Because you got a gene, your brain is a business. You got business genius in you. So, but you're doing smooth with this podcast. I have watched a few, bro. You're a natural at this, man. So basically, Jeremy, as you know, for those that don't know, my name is Matt Maddix. People always ask me like, hey, you know, how should I introduce you? And I'm like, look, people that are truly powerful don't need an introduction. You know, so
that's why I didn't introduce you. I just said,
well, hey,
yeah,
here's Matt Maddix. That's all you need to know. But anyways, no, I'm the dad of Caleb Maddix, which that's obviously I'm most proud of that, Jeremy. I mean, I could tell you all the things I do, but you know, I'm the dad of Caleb Maddix. But I'm also the founder of Maddix Missions. Maddix Missions lives right now on this earth, Jeremy, to heal kids that are fatherless, but also to end fatherlessness. Like, you know, what does Donald Trump say? Solve the biggest problems. You know, I'm on a mission. You know, yes, I have a publishing company, but everything that I've created on this earth, Jeremy, there's always the heart of a business. There's the heart of a man. There's the heart of a brand. Well, if you cut open my heart, like it bleeds mission. You know, my son and I have this thing, we say mission, mission, mission. It's like we've always been deep into mission.
Yeah.
Well, so I've been on a mission my whole life, dude, really since, not my whole life, but since I was probably 16 years old, I've been this radically consumed, passionate person. That never changes.
Yeah, where does this energy come from, Matt? Because I'll say so far, you're definitely and I like that about you. Obviously, you always operating at this high frequency. Where does that come from? Do you ever turn it off and just deep breaths?
I get asked that question all the time, Jeremy. And here's where it comes from. It comes from, I'm Caleb Maddix's dad. Like, I'm a dad, dude. I am the luckiest human being in the world. I just raised my son from 0 to 18 in a crazy world. And look, dude, I'm blessed. You know, where does the energy come from? Well, it comes from God. Number one, Jeremy. It comes from my spiritual practices. I have very unique spiritual practices. Of course, look, I did Wim Hof this morning. I do Vipassana meditation, ice cold shower. Like, of course I do those things. I already drank a juice this morning, Jeremy. You know, I'm big into juicing because we got to get We have to get raw fruits and vegetables in our body every day. That, never, now more than ever, we need to be building strong immune systems. Dude, I love life. The energy comes from passion. It comes from I've already buried 3 of my best friends. So I've seen a lot of death. I was a pastor before, so I've been to a lot of funerals. And it's like, Jeremy, why not enjoy life? Because they're going to have your funeral. And 5 minutes after the reverend tells everybody, thanks for coming, they're going to go to some gymnasium or some rented something, and they're going to all start eating and laughing, fried chicken and cracking jokes, and life's going on in 5 minutes, dude, after they dismiss you. So I just love life, man. I've traveled the world. I've been on over 114 missions trips. I've seen real poverty. Jeremy, I come from a military background. My grandfather was a Marine, so I've seen a lot, and of course, just being Caleb's dad and just living the life we live, doing what I do is energizing. And it's all, of course, I'm 45, Jeremy. I've failed a lot. I've learned what not to do. So anyways,
we failed together, I think, a few times, haven't we?
Jeremy, we really have, dude. But it was fun, dude. I was actually thinking about some of the memories we had. Do you remember that party? You threw a party in Orlando before Funnel Hacking Live, didn't you?
Yeah, that was at STK at Disney Springs. Actually, we rented the top floor. That was fun.
You know how to host an event. You know how to throw a party. You always do everything with excellence, dude. And everything you do it with excellence. Is that something that was just taught to you by your parents? Was that a mentor thing, or was that something that's just who you are?
That's actually a good question, and I appreciate that. So we do have a similar mindset in that we live this one life, right? And even my first job, I waited tables at a breakfast spot called Bob Evans. I don't know if you know Bob Evans. They're big in Florida.
To think of you as a waiter at Bob Evans, dude, that is, I can't even.
Dude, yeah. So, but I knew it wasn't my career. I knew I wasn't going to do it for the rest of my life, but I worked there for 3 years. And in 3 years, I worked my way up to nighttime shift manager. I was training servers at 18 years old, and not that I'm super special or anything. I just if I'm going to be here, I can be here for 8 hours and just slack off, or I can be here for 8 hours and make the most of it, earn the most of my shift, make the biggest impact in people's lives. Because Bob Evans had a partnership with a halfway house. So a lot of people were just getting out of challenges, and I would be there helping them and training them and things like that. So it's just if you're going to do it, if you're going to invest the time, why the heck not make the most of it, right? If you're going to invest a day, we invested a lot of time preparing for that party, inviting people to that party. It was a lot of money to have that open bar, Matt. We got premium top shelf open bar.
It was me that racked up that bill.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe I threw up that night, but yeah, if we're going to do it and we're going to invite all our friends, we might as well just spend what it takes, invest the time and energy it takes to do it right. And I've always had that mindset. When I started my first business, my manufacturing company, I met the guy that invested in my business waiting tables on him when I was 20 or 21. So you just never know who you're going to meet. You operate and you have good energy, positive energy. You're respectful to people. You never know who you're going to meet. And while I was waiting tables, I met a guy that ended up being kind of a mentor to me. I was his assistant, and then he ended up investing in my first business. All because I didn't just walk up to him. What?
What was the number one thing you learned from him? You said he was one of your first mentors. What was the lesson that really changed your life when you were starting with him?
So it's probably not what you're expecting, what I'm about to say.
That's okay.
But it was, and we're not on great terms now, which is also okay. Yeah. But it was kind of what not to do in business. I feel like I really learned from him, as well as I saw him and his friends being wealthy, which at the time I really wanted to be wealthy. I grew up with low income family, and wealth was really important to me at the time. It still is. It's not as important as some other things, but wealth is still very important to me. And I realized from hanging around him and all his friends, I was told myself they're not that smart. So if they can do it, I can do it. So it just gave me the confidence that I could accomplish whatever I wanted.
Yeah, that I agree with you. I always taught Caleb. I said, Caleb, you're mentored in two ways: how to be and how not to be. So there's always going to be valuable lessons from every mentor or every experience. Just learn from also what they're displaying in their character or their habits is teaching you quickly what not to do. Don't ever become this person. So I love that, Jeremy.
Hey, real quick too, Matt, on your preferences on Skype, I think the audio is picking up from your computer audio. Can we switch that to that beautiful mic you have in front of your face?
Work on that, JC. It's under here. See it?
It sounds like it's picking up from computer audio. So it's not that big of a deal. It'll probably just improve the audio quality a little bit.
Okay. He's working on it now. All right. So Jeremy, what is the most curious question that you honestly have? The most curious question.
Curious, like Curious? Is that what you're? Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, that's because the other night at my birthday party, Caleb and all of his I say young, everybody's young, but his all these young entrepreneurs were there. Casey Adams was there. Dude, Casey Adams is crushing his podcast, bro, and it was amazing because we remember when he was really honestly a nobody. Like, nobody knew who he was. He was from Virginia. He didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. He was just a kid, man. He ended up getting connected with Ty Lopez, and anyway, so they were asking me, they were like, hey, what is the secret to really connecting with people? And I said, well, you have to have a true curiosity. That's the problem with a lot of people is they don't develop a true curiosity about others. And that's why, the quality of the conversation is determined by the quality of the question. And most humans, I taught my son, I was like, Caleb, never be in the presence of greatness and not ask questions. Because, he had a chance to be around a lot of great people. And I said, keep a list of at least 30 questions, but make them be good questions, unique questions. And he's like, well, how do you do that? I'm like, curiosity. Take your curiosity deep, And so, for you, if you were, first of all, I'm sure you got a list of questions or whatever, but what is your most curious question? I'm curious.
Actually, for you, I didn't even write any questions.
Yeah, we don't need
I was like, I figured I'd just turn it on and just let you talk, and it'd be my my easiest episode so far.
Thank you.
No, but I do like asking a lot of questions. I have some great mentors in my life, and I'm not like that with everybody. So I think that's an area of growth for me. Is some people I'll just decide in my head really quick if it's somebody I want to be curious about or not, and then after that, I just either go into curious mode or non-curious mode. But the people that I am really curious about, normally if I aspire to have that component of their life. So if they're wealthy, if I think they're funny, if I think they're a great father, a great husband, and I'm looking at myself and I was like, I want to be that. I want to aspire to be that person. I feel normally in those times I'm the most curious, and a lot of times I'll just be very blunt, and ask whatever the heck's on my mind, and there's almost nothing I won't ask. And that's one of the reasons, by the way, I started this podcast. We haven't chatted in a while, and I know the debates tonight, right? So that's going to be entertaining TV. We're recording on Tuesday, the same day as the first presidential debate. So that'll be fun. But
that's pretty historical, dude.
Yeah. So I just want to be able to have all types of conversations about all types of subjects. And if I can get great guests on like yourself.
Yeah, but what is your biggest pet peeve in podcasters? Like, as you were starting your podcaster, because, differentiate or die, So what for you was like, what? I don't ever want to be like this. What?
Afraid
That podcasters do.
Afraid to touch on certain topics because their audience is gonna bitch at them, and they're conforming to something they aren't truly.
Thank you, Jeremy. Seriously, thank you, because too many people get so political and so polished, and that's like when people invite me on podcasts, I say, look, there's no question off limits. You can ask me my beliefs about anything. You can ask me my opinion. You can ask me my philosophy, and I'm not going to hold back, because that's part of like my whole legacy now. Caleb watches everything I do, Jeremy. So the knowledge of that, the example, the legacy, and then, my mission and my responsibility. But Jeremy, there's a lot about social media influencers that it's a turnoff. It's a distaste. It's just like, I feel like the world's burnt out of it. I feel like the world is starting to become just like, because it is sounding all the same. So thank you for creating a podcast that, for you that don't know, Jeremy Adams is the founder of the podcast Openly Outspoken. I love the name, by the way, Openly Outspoken.
It took me like 2 months to come up with that fucking thing. I was literally just brainstorming, and then I had to find the .com too. So it was a perfect combination of a .com that was available and something that I liked, and it had the alliteration. So once I came up with it, though, I knew I was good to go. But yeah, man, just being able to talk about everything and anything and have an opinion. And, I know we agree on a lot of stuff. I know, like, for example, you're a man of faith. You make it very known you are. I really am not. I'm more agnostic atheist.
So go ahead and open that conversation up with you right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. What would you say to an agnostic/atheist? I would say I'm spiritual too. I'm in that realm. I don't know if I have an exact title for myself, but something in that realm. That's
first thing I tell you, Jeremy, is you're normal, dude. Look at me in the eye real quick. You're normal, man. I mean, first of all, dude, who wouldn't have questions about, is there a God? Who wouldn't sometimes be, so you're kind of a mix of agnostic and atheist.
I go back and forth. It just depends on the day. This is how I would describe myself. I believe in law of attraction. I believe in energy. I believe in karma.
Okay.
I don't associate myself with any major religion. I do think there could be some higher power. And I also do think the Big Bang Theory could be possible as well. Like, I'm kind of in that mix. I'm not set. I've heard people tell me that atheism is a faith, and it is. And I'm not anti-religion. I grew up going to church, and ever since I've probably been about high school, I've been where I'm at now in some way, shape, or form.
Well, let me first of all say this, that this is I've had, and I can tell you, thousands of conversations with atheists, from and people from every ideal of faith or religion. I've been in the trenches representing, Jesus, God, and really the experience of, speaking in tongues, Jeremy, which is what I want to talk to you about for a second, because it's a very electrifying, powerful experience that a lot of people miss out on because of the stigma of religion. See, like, kind of what I'm doing with Maddix Missions is giving a new opportunity, because I'm burned out of religion. I'm bored. Churches bore me. They bore me to sleep, Jeremy. Well, I mean, the sermons are lifeless. The pastors are just, their words feel like echoes to me. And this is a guy that's, I've literally preached 5,000 plus messages in churches. Dude, I've preached in probably an average of 5 to 7 churches a week for 10 years straight. So I know the church world. I understand the religious world. I was raised Catholic. Then I converted to a Pentecostal. So that was a big, extreme, conversion. So I would tell anybody that's listening to this podcast right now, and that this has nothing to do with religion. I don't want to convert you to religion. I don't want to convert you. Here's what I want to do. I'm gonna give you a challenge because it's not about. A lot of people try to experience God, or what you say, higher power, and I believe in the law of attraction as well, and I practice it. And I have a lot of spiritual practices that Christianity condemns, that I would go to hell for. But I believe in these spiritual practices, okay? But I'll also look at any human in the eye and tell them that, the experience of what they call the baptism of the Holy Spirit, Jeremy, and you start speaking in tongues is real, dude. I've seen it. My son, Caleb, he prays in tongues in the morning. A lot of his entrepreneur friends have experienced it, and they pray in tongues. It's a chant. You say prayer, you could call it a chant, because there is a power in sound. There is a power in vibration. So what I would tell you, Jeremy, is forget everything you know about religion, and why don't you explore God? Why don't you start with, say, for the next 30 days, I'm going to take 15 minutes and I'm just going to pray. Like, dude, what are you going to lose? You have nothing to lose. It'd be good for the experience. Document it and just say, God, I'm going to sit down and talk to you here. Help me with this. I'm not, be real. I'm real with God, dude. I've dropped the F word in prayer many times. And so I'm very real with God. I'm very honest with God. And I've developed a relationship. Jeremy, I've seen angels. I've heard God's voice. It is real, okay? So I would tell you the other thing I would tell you is, because you're a businessman and you're a wise person, read one chapter of Proverbs a day for 30 days. Because there's 31 chapters in Proverbs. And this is written by the wisest man that ever lived. And I would tell anybody, it doesn't matter if you're an atheist, if you hate the Bible, still read Proverbs, because there is some gold in there for you, Jeremy. There's some really good stuff. And then I would tell you, hey, for 30 days or so, start reading Jesus, because Jesus was a master storyteller. He was the master of all masters, Jeremy. And there's some very powerful stuff that you can get from faith. So no longer let it, you're too old now to let it be an argument in your head. You're a mature young man. You can go ahead and explore it without having to overanalyze it. Analyze it after 30 days, okay? Try to open yourself up to speaking in tongues, Jeremy, because
when you say speaking in tongues,
powerful, man.
When you say speaking in tongues, can you elaborate?
Well, it's like it's another language. It's a chant. I know a lot of entrepreneurs that do this. I can name some names. It's a prayer. They call it a prayer language. You start speaking in another language. It resurrects your faith. It's energizing. And dude, you get clarity, man. It's just this. It's this, because remember, it's the sound of vibration, dude. It's the communication in spirit world, and that's where I want you to just maybe consider. And any of your podcasters are probably, my God, but give it a shot, because, for example, Caleb's best friends and roommates were atheists, and they both experienced speaking in tongues. And they do it. Now, they're not religious. In fact, they still have the same struggles and questions, and that's okay, dude. I have questions. I have doubts. So for me, it's just about the experience. Now, what was your biggest takeaway from what I just shared? I'm curious.
I mean, I'm down to give it a shot. I think okay. As I was telling you how I would identify myself, I think that is even a major problem in society, that we have to have these labels. So I was confused in my own label as I was sharing with you as how to identify myself, So how do you identify yourself in any way when it comes to your faith? Or
Yeah, I don't. And I'll tell you the truth. I don't label myself at all either, because of my mission with Maddix Missions is to break the labels. It's to bring people back to the basics. Now at Maddix Missions, I will have prayer rallies. I will have, I used to lead prayer marches in America. Now, these are very powerful because of unity. Remember, dude, sound, speaking, and that stuff is very powerful as far as energy. So, but at the same time, dude, my overall faith is basically, let's go heal people that are sick. Let's go serve people that are poor. Let's go serve veterans. Let's go feed homeless people. Let's go and let's go to third world countries, and let's really help end poverty. Like for me, my faith is all about just connecting with God, because it's good to. It does not no bad. And then the mission that I'm on is just like a give back. It's a heal and it's a serve. It's a give. It's like staying in that energy of, you're so blessed. Like we're so blessed, Jeremy.
Yeah.
That being on a mission keeps you dialed in spiritually too, because you're in an energy and a love of giving back. So like you're really blessed, but you're also giving back. So that's more of my style of faith. And faith is more about living a life absent of fear. No fear of death, no fear of failure, no fear of rejection.
Yeah.
Faith is about being in the now. It's about having peace. Spirituality and faith is about your energy. It's about deep levels of joy and fulfillment and happiness. It's about peace of mind. It's about knowing that to know that you have a God that you can pray to. Like we humans, that's why I tell my son when I take him hiking, I'm like, you see these trees out here in the desert? Like, dude, they're out here 24/7. They'll outlive you. Like, nature outlives us. We're only here for a short time. We're just human. Like, if a car hits us, we die. If a bullet hits us, we die. Like, our lives are so fragile. We're souls in a body anyways, Jeremy. We're spirit beings in a body. So what are your thoughts on this so far?
Well, I am a big believer in positive affirmation. So I would say that's similar to praying, right? There are some correlations there.
It's a form of prayer.
Yeah, so I do that already.
In affirmations, I'm curious.
What?
Why do you believe in affirmations?
I just feel from an energetic standpoint, me saying out loud that's powerful. Me writing it down and saying out loud will like make it happen in my life. And typically my positive affirmations, and everybody's different, they're normally the opposite of lies I'm having in my head. So there'll be something along the lines of, I'm perfect as I am today. I am enough. If I'm like talking to a girl and she's draining my energy, it's things along the lines of, I control my own energy. Nobody controls my energy but me.
Hey, I'm here for you right now. Does this happen sometimes? You're talking to a lady, she drains your energy. What is it about that?
I think this is good, Matt. This is good. Yeah. See,
we always have the best. Don't you miss those days and we could just go grab lunch at the Avenue, man? Those were the best chats.
Yeah. I think what happened
took so much for granted, man.
Yeah.
But anyways, keep going.
For me, and this is stuff I talk to my therapist about as well. And not that, my parents don't love me and, they weren't there for me. They were, but I feel everybody wants to receive love in a different way, and just how my parents gave love and time and energy weren't how my body was deep down craving it, from what I can see, and what I feel like I want now, which is my two love languages are quality time and touch. And I think a lot of that has to do with, history. And I still am like oftentimes very hesitant to be touching, and deep down, it's what I like crave the most. It's kind of effed up how we do those things. But for me to open up is something that has been getting easier over the years, but it's something that's never come really natural. And for me to show affection and be loving and give love regularly. So when I start doing that, it opens up an emotional side of me that gets uh
Trigger.
yeah, just I lose my rational and my logic brain. This all the compliments you were giving me to start this show off all go out the window. I swear to God. Like I become more emotional. I become maybe a little more needy at times. I have some codependent tendencies, and it becomes really draining on me. And I have to work out a lot of those things through experience, through self talk, things of that nature.
Jeremy, I got to tell you this, if any of you ladies that are watching that are single, you know you're going to appreciate what I'm about to say. Jeremy, I can't respect you enough for the vulnerability which you just communicated with, because most men cannot do that. So for you to just literally speak without filter and really express true vulnerability like that, first of all, ladies love that. Second of all, men should learn from this, because that's part of what I'm doing, Jeremy. I have this book that I've been working on called The Alpha Gentleman. And the reason why is because I've been on dates with girls. Jeremy, it's probably happened at least 5 to maybe 7 times. They said, do you have some kind of dating course? Like, you should teach other men. Now, look, I haven't been perfect in relationships at all. But I have been in the single world for over 15 years. And I have dated a lot of amazing, amazing, beautiful ladies. I've learned a lot, what to do, what not to do. I've also learned a lot by the stories they told me about their other relationships. And I've always been a deep listener, and I journal and I retain and I really study and go deep with it. But, in this journey, I got turned off by a lot of the dating teachings and videos. I'm like, this isn't right. I wouldn't want my son to hear this. And then I created for Caleb's 18th birthday, what we call the Maddix Legacy Center. It's a membership site that I built where I upload videos for Caleb of stories and wisdom from dad. Because, I wrote him that book when he turned 16 called Wisdom from Dad.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, there's really not too many places he can go to get real wisdom. A lot of this stuff on the internet is horse. I mean, it's bad, Jeremy. It's bad. It's just bad. I don't want my son and the young men that I mentor. There's a lot of powerful young entrepreneurs out there, Jeremy, like yourself. It gives me so much hope for America. People like you, people like Caleb, a lot of Caleb's friends, a lot of your friends, and you were on Caleb with the 30 under 30, man. You and Caleb have been on a lot of awards together. I think you guys were like the top must follow on Snapchat. There was something. But anyways, congratulations for all you've accomplished too, by the way, dude. That's what I was telling some people this morning. I was like, dude, Jeremy Adams, he could be on Shark Tank. The knowledge he has, he could be on Shark Tank. But listen to this. I now am so obsessed about teaching young men the right stuff about sales, about mindset, about dating, about health, about money, because I have an 18-year-old son who's now a man, and there's so many of these young men, and the alpha gentleman is to show men how to be all alpha, but how to be all gentlemen. And there's not too much teaching out there for men. And so, like, this myth of masculinity that you've always got to be macho and strong and perfect, and so, dude, whatever you're doing in your therapy, first of all, I'm a believer in therapy.
Hell yeah.
You have to tell me, like, what was one of your biggest breakthroughs in therapy? And then, dude, so thank you for being vulnerable about that, dude. So, but is there anybody you're currently talking to, or you're just totally single right now?
I mean, there's definitely a couple people I'm talking to. I think so I want to ask you, after I share this, where do you think the biggest opportunity for young men to grow is, like you're talking about? Because I agree. I'm trying to find that perfect balance as a man where I'm strong in my masculine, but also willing to have some feelings and be vulnerable and be real, right? Just, you don't want to be a pushover. You don't want to not have a spine, but you also have to be willing to share your feelings and just be loving and be be that person that I believe can impact a lot of people, right? So
Okay.
definitely talking to a few. For me, it's just a matter of, I will say, I would say for the first time in my life, Matt, this is another vulnerable share. I've definitely wanted relationships in the past, and looking back at it, I've always wanted them to fill a void, because I was needy or just whatever. I thought it would make me
Hey, normal.
happier.
Yeah. You
Yeah, I was
wanted
lonely.
that, the snuggle. You wanted the feminine touch, the
Yeah,
smell of a lady. I mean, dude, they are amazing.
for sure. I would say now I can truly say, for the right fit, I feel I'm as ready as I've ever been for like an actual partner, like an actual
Wow.
healthy partnership with an awesome woman. So when that fit comes, I think I'll know. But for now, yeah, I'm just being the best guy I can and showing up the best way I can, and just every woman that I hang out with on like a more serious level, I've been doing my best to be as respectful as possible, listen to them, compliment them like crazy, tell them they're beautiful, tell them they're awesome, just being the best man I can to these women in the time that I'm around them. So
Dude, that readiness is gonna I'll bet you're gonna have a Hallmark Christmas this year. I have a feeling around the holidays, Jeremy. You're walking into Whole Foods and you're gonna drop your coconut water, and all of a sudden she's gonna be right there, and it's just gonna be magic, buddy. So, anyways, no, you're actually ready. I mean, your maturity is there, your mindset is there, and your mix of all of us have a masculine, feminine energy. And most we just we're in a society right now, Jeremy, where we all grew up on Disney World, Hollywood, schools, and whatever our parents instilled in us. That's really all we really had is movies, our teachers at school, our friends, and our parents. And dude, look, I mean, if I went down the numbers, we're screwed up sexually. The world is sexually screwed up. First of all, Jeremy, the sexual energy is a 24/7 in our life because we were born from sex.
yeah,
We were born because your father had an orgasm. And that's passion, dude. An orgasm. Like, that's passion. Like, we were born out of sexual passion. We were born out of sexual excitement. Or hopefully, who knows? And we were going deep on this the other night at my birthday party. It was about 20 entrepreneurs there, and I went deep for about an hour about sexuality, about like, hey, nobody talks to our young people about healthy sexuality. Most young men don't even know how to turn a lady on, dude. I know men that have muscles, tattoos, trucks. They're millionaires, and they literally they don't know how to romance a lady. They don't know how to turn a lady on sexually. And it's sad, and it's not their fault. It's a lot of them didn't have good fathers. A lot of them didn't have a society that taught men how to be men.
how do you romance a lady, Matt? I want to learn from the expert here.
Okay, let me give you some
Tell me how it's done.
tips. Here we go. Here, you guys enjoying this? For all your listeners out there, listen up. This is very important because romance is dead, Jeremy. I look at most guys in relationships, and I'm like, oh my God, do not listen. Women okay. First of all, ladies love romance. To romance a lady, Jeremy, you have to pay attention to the details, first of all. And you have to learn how to give ladies experiences. Okay, most dates for ladies are boring. They're not thought out. There's no spontaneity, there's no creativity, and there's really no romance. So, like, dude, it starts with, like, obviously, I mean, let's assuming you're in a relationship, right? Is this the level of romance we're wanting to go to? Or are we assuming just like the basics here, Jer?
I'm just saying, how does Matt Maddix, just if he meets this woman that let's just pretend you met the woman, the most amazing woman you've ever met, and you have one night to show her that she would make the biggest mistake if she doesn't spend the rest of her life with you. What are you guys doing that night?
Well, first of all, dude, I'll give her a night like she's never had. That's number one. Here's what will happen. I will make her laugh in her stomach in a way she's never laughed. I will flirt with her. Well, first of all, I'm a master at this, Jeremy, because, hey, and I don't mean that in an ego way. I don't. I was telling JC this morning, I said, JC, you know, we really do have powers, and we have to make sure that we're ethical, because these things work so powerfully. Like, dude, there is a level of confidence and certainty, first of all. I have that. I've been insecure before, believe you me. And I'm not perfect, first of all. I've made a lot of mistakes, Jeremy. But what I do have now is confidence and certainty. I'm comfortable in my own skin. So remember, with a lady, it's not about game. It's about feeling. Women feel. And they are so smart with their feelings. They can read through any BS. They can spot ego a mile away. So, like, there is a knowledge going into that date, Jeremy, that I would show up with. First of all, there's this, her feminine energy would be swept away by my alpha energy that I would bring to the date, you know, because of all these thoughts and inner feelings and comfortableness that I know I'm going to be able to mesmerize her with conversation. First, that's number one. Women love conversation. And if you know how to get deep into a lady, first of all, no guy's done that before. I have such an advantage, you know. And then there is a power in just knowing when to flirt. And then I would definitely make the whole night extremely magical and spontaneous. So I would choose, first of all, you can never go wrong by feeding ladies. And Jeremy, you would be amazing at this. Most guys don't even really know how to feed ladies. You know, so I would give like a progressive meal experience. I would say, now this is, I hope you're hungry, because I usually eat like 5 to 10 places. You know, so I'll be like, we're going to try this here, and then we'll take you to this other little place. And they're like, dude, just given that experience, you know, definitely jump on a few scooters. I would take her to some art play. I don't want to give away all my stuff now, Jeremy, but it would just
That's what I'm asking, bro.
And it would be a lot of detail. It would be a lot of dancing, because girls love to dance. So I guarantee you that I would give her a dancing experience. You know, I would write her a little note while she went to the restroom. I mean, little things, you know. I would definitely make her laugh. You got to make girls laugh, and you got to keep it chill. You know, you don't get into super deep conversations about your exes or you know, most guys talk about themselves too much. You got to make your date 90% about them, 10% about you. You share. Most guys talk too much. Most guys talk about themselves. So like with ladies, you got to awaken their emotions. You got to get them feeling stuff in their stomach. And you do that by making it about them, because guys don't usually do that. And just really, Jeremy, knowing how to have fun and give an experience. And then, of course, the flirting, dude, comes with like the touch, the sensuality. You know, who teaches men how to be sensual? When's the last time you actually heard somebody on a Facebook Live or a podcast say, I'm going to teach men on some sensual secrets? Because women want sensuality. And you can seduce a lady and and this is where the magic of sex can happen 2 weeks before you actually have sex. You can release some tantric energy. You can release some mystery. There's a way you can touch ladies that's not perverted or dirty, but they feel it, man. And they want more, but yet you don't give more. You don't try to have, the slower you go, the faster you get there. The problem with guys is they're only thinking sex instead of seduction, instead of, you know, connection. Dude, the more a lady feels connected, the more that she will come alive sexually. The more the lady feels valued, respected, like, you know, it's just when you make it all about her, dude, you'll win, Jeremy. Jeremy, what's your biggest 3 takeaways?
Matt, that takeaway. So I agree with the meal and the experience thing. I feel I've done a pretty good job of that. Just because that's easy for me, because I personally like to go to like nice meals anyway. So it's just I'm gonna do it, and they can just come along, and they'll be
Love
there.
that.
But I agree with men needing to be more sensual. The whole scooter ride, just adding to the experience. I mean, with it's with anybody you're trying to build a strong relation with in life. I mean, that's if you're trying to close a big client. It's not saying it's the same exact, but
Very close.
if I'm trying to close a big deal and I take my top client's team on a scooter ride, they're probably going to remember that for a while.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's just about creating that bond. And I do agree that it can be very powerful if used in a negative way, but if you're ethical and used in a positive way. And again, that's just what I've been doing as a man. I'm
Jeremy,
far.
I'm with you. I used to be a player. Look, I'm not proud of it. I used to be a player. I used to be all about the sexual experience, the makeout, I'm a normal guy. Okay. But I'm with you. I've hung that up. That chapter of my life, I went ahead and just said, you know what? Not to say that it doesn't mean I'm not going to go on dates or flirt. I'm just not
Yeah.
going to be a player. You get it?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell
Hey,
you,
Jeremy, were you ever a player? Because you really could be, buddy. You're smooth enough. Look,
I don't.
I've seen you come back into the apartment many times.
You've seen what?
It wasn't the same lady. So was that like? Look, I mean, this is openly outspoken, right? I mean, I've watched the girls you brought in and out, and were you a player or were you just experiencing? Where were you at?
I don't consider myself ever being a player
Okay.
because I didn't really talk to girls in high school. It wasn't until probably around my mid 20s that I started gaining a little bit of confidence, and I had a little bit of financial success. So that was the first time I felt I really started just being good with women, was probably around when I met you down in St. Pete. So I don't think I was ever a player. I'm great, I believe, at building authentic relationships because I really do care about what they're saying and I want to get close. So if there's a girl that I just think is really beautiful or interesting, I will genuinely be interested in her. And I feel, all it takes a lot of failures to get to that point. You saw some pretty
Well, it takes
girls maybe,
one
but
lady out of 8 billion.
yeah.
Just one.
Yeah, I don't think I was ever a player, but I still to this day I
I
just
would have classified you as a player. To me, you were always up front. You were always a gentleman. Look, we've been in apartments together on parties and stuff, man.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
So Matt, tell me where young men in particular, where's the biggest opportunity for growth in 2020 with young men?
100%. What they think of, how they treat ladies, what they think about them sexually, their overall growth should be and how they talk, how they communicate with ladies, how they date ladies, how they view them, how they interact with them. As I look at all young entrepreneurs, I think, okay, well, you guys are in the easy. If you can't succeed now, come on. I mean, really, really, Jeremy, let's get real. I mean, if you can't succeed now, I mean, really, it's never been easier to write a book. It's never been easier to make $1 million. It's never been easier to close sales. It's never been easier to market. Like, it's set up for like the success side for men, young entrepreneurs, the branding, the lighting, the watches, whatever. They've got that down, their image. There's a lot of ego in that too. And I think you got to be careful because that is a big turnoff for ladies, and where I see a big room for growth in young men is them learning how to be more alpha and how to be more gentleman, how to be more, more of a man that ladies feel safe around.
Give me some examples though. How can one be more alpha or gentleman that women can be more
Well,
safe around?
first of all, in how they plan. Most guys do not truly plan even the first date right. They show up with no reservations. When I go on a date, Jeremy, I always show up at least 30 minutes early to make sure the vibe is there. I've never gone on a date where I didn't show up early to make sure the atmosphere and the vibe was set. The table, the one I wanted, I've slipped 20s, 40s, to get a better table with a better vibe, with in front of the lighting, the music, and then to find out what do you usually like to drink, and then to have it sitting there waiting when she shows up, and you're walking. It's the experience begins like you plan, and hey, we're gonna be here, and I'll be wearing jeans and probably some dress shoes and a button up. Well, that's a clue to a lady how to dress. This place is, I'll be wearing a jacket. It's kind of it's a little bit nicer where a lot of people dress up, and women appreciate that. So it's in the little things. It's in the little things like, the vibe, the detail, the planning. I see a lot of men just put no thought into that, Jeremy.
Yeah.
They go on dates. They make ladies stand there for 10 minutes while they're getting a table. That's like little things that that's unacceptable, then unique experiences, such as taking a lady out, painting, the stuff like that, carriage rides, hot air balloon rides, experiences. They're ladies, man. They want experience, live music is a must. It's like, and they're just not always doing the predictable of dinner and then just going home, just like they like to take walks, but that's another thing. I always make sure to check the weather. Look, a lot of my dates I'll do around sunset, Jeremy. I think creating a sunset vibe is magical. And then I think as far as alpha, guys being, and you're great at this, make sure you're dressed right. Make sure you got good hygiene. You look good. Your fingernails are clipped. Your hair's done. You smell good. You have some good cologne. You don't have your buttoned up all the way. I mean, you just the little things. And then as far as gentlemen, it goes with if you go walk with a lady, let's say you're walking to go get ice cream around the corner, you always walk closest to the street. Jeremy, if you're out with a girl and you're having a drink, don't drink from your straw. I teach girls, you don't trust a guy that drinks from a straw.
I drink from a straw because I don't want to mess up my teeth, Matt.
This is you can't be sitting there with a little cocktail straw,
What does a straw matter? See, I don't know if I agree with that. That seems a little silly, dude. I don't want to mess up my teeth, man. I like drinking stuff through a straw.
Perfect, dude.
What?
There's something about a man doing this. It's alpha versus.
Okay.
Am I right? Who on Facebook and Instagram agrees?
We can agree on a lot of stuff. I don't know about the straw.
Podcast. Put in the group here. What do they think?
Well, I'm not recording this live on my end. We're gonna go live on Friday. So.
Well, I don't blame you, dude. I'm the people that they always want to make sure that I'm pre-live because I'll say anything.
Yeah, let's cut out that straw part. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
I'm just kidding. No, everything's going to be in here. I recorded earlier and then it goes live a few days later. That's kind of the pattern I've created.
And leave ladies wanting more. Too many men take these ladies out and keep them out all night. Hey, have a good time. Leave them wanting more. Be the guy that kisses them on the neck. And that's another thing. Guys don't know how to kiss girls on the neck, buddy. Play with their hair. Brush their hair. Dude, do you want to turn a lady on when you're sitting at home one night watching a movie, buddy? You sit her down and you start by brushing her hair. And then you go get the lotion and you massage her feet. And you just for an hour, dude, playing with her hair and her feet. While she's enjoying that movie and you're massaging her neck a little bit, dude, and you're just kind of running your fingers up the back of her neck near her ear. Dude, it's those are the little things that most ladies don't get to experience. No seduction, no and then but the principle of leaving them wanting more, dude, is huge. Don't text her all the time, don't call her all the time. Just leave her wanting more.
See, I don't know. We agree on a lot here. I don't know if I agree. I'm a big believer in if I just feel like texting or calling, I'm going to text or call. I don't want to overthink that stuff. I think that's part of a game.
Do that. Look at me. Do that. But still leave her wanting more. Get it? Like, call her and leave her wanting more.
Yeah.
Hey, babe, I have this cool thing I can't wait to tell you about tonight. That's leaving her wanting more. You get it? That's like, oh, hey, listen, I have this amazing thing I can't wait to share with you tonight. I got this surprise at sunset, so don't make any plans, okay? That's leaving her wanting more. I'm not in any way. Listen, when you're in love, if it's natural in your relationship and it's natural in your personality to call, whenever and just text whenever, I'm okay with that. I don't think that's needy. I am for elimination of all games. But the more principle that I'm looking for and leaving them wanting more is the mystery. It's leaving them wanting more.
I see what you're saying. So
no, that make more sense now or no?
No, it does. I mean, it's life is sales. You got to you're just selling yourself ultimately, and it's supply and demand. People always are gonna want what they don't have. I mean, there's a reason why higher end jewelry and clothes and houses are more desirable, because most people can't have them. So creating a little bit of scarcity.
It's controversial, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready as all.
Very controversial to our audiences. Most American ladies have had extremely negative inputs, even subconsciously, from childhood all the way up, about men. There is such a disconnect between the two kingdoms, the two energies in our world right now. Hence why the extreme amount of popularity with the gay and lesbian movement. We're turning back to like, we think women are so screwed up that men are like saying, no, I want men now, and ladies are like, want ladies. Like, there is a gender difference, Jeremy. We all have genital differences. We are so different, male and female. Jeremy, this is my passion. This is my belief. Okay, buddy, is that, a lot of American ladies, they're not feminine. I don't want to say a lot, but they're not feminine. They're more masculine. They're guarded. That we got a generation now where, like, how is I'm trying to imagine my great grandfather's having poker with all of his buddies one night, okay? And they're like, yeah, I was on a date the other night. We went Dutch, or she paid, I paid. Like, dude, what? Like, even the idea that there are girls paying on dates, like, that to me is like, what happened? Right? So to me, like, a lot of ladies in America, the younger ones, have grown up very defensive towards men, very, I don't need a man, very like independent. And there's not, and men need a feminine lady. We need ladies that are feminine. And even talking like this is a risk, because there's so much anger among, and it's created like these inputs create outputs, that a lot of ladies are so guarded and whatever, that I think that, it's just caused us to really hurt in our dating. I mean, obviously something's hurting. 70% of our marriages are in divorce. Our generation's never been more single. The population of single parents. So there's obviously something at the root. What do you think it is?
I talk about this subject pretty regularly with my friends. I believe deep down a lot of women want to be in their feminine because they're females and they want to be in their feminine. I unfortunately feel like society has kind of put this pressure on a woman that if they're too feminine, they're a loser or whatever. They're just not, like, which again, I think sometimes in cases that, like, a woman CEO would be a lot better than me in my role in my company. Like, I think that everybody should be able to do whatever they want. Ultimately, if it's deep down, if a woman deep down wants to be the CEO of a company, I believe that women actually have better traits that make a great CEO because they're more empathetic. Because what does a CEO need to do? Really just empathize with their team and get along and be a good communicator. They're not really operating in the day to day. Women are typically better at that than men. With that being said, I think getting clear on what we actually truly deep down want is most important. And if a woman truly wants to be a CEO, fantastic. I believe they should do whatever they want. But if they deep down want to be a stay-at-home mom or want to work a part-time job so they can raise a family, that should be okay too, right? And just truly getting clear.
But the pressure, man.
Just truly. And if a man doesn't want to be a business owner and wants to be a stay-at-home dad, that should be okay too. We should be able to just get comfortable and clear on what we each individually want and not let society tell us otherwise. Like, and I can tell you, I've had this conversation with a lot of women because I like very intelligent women, and a lot of very intelligent women I talk to, it's very important for them to be independent and not rely on a man. And I respect that, and I support them in being, I want any woman I'm with to be happy and successful in what makes them happy. But I also tell them, hey, it's okay knowing that you can sometimes and not doing it, even though deep down you know that you can. Because I feel like there's something about, and I've talked about this on a couple of my episodes now, there's something about a healthy relationship where a guy can be in that provider role. I'm not saying it's every relationship. Everything is different, but men are naturally providers. Before modern day finances, we were the hunter-gatherers when the woman was taking care of the children. I mean, that it's in our DNA to just want to provide. It makes us feel fulfilled. So, I've shared with women that, I've had romantic relationships with is like, hey, if you want to do this, feel free, do whatever makes you happy, but don't feel like you need to do it just to prove to somebody, because I already know you can. And oftentimes, there's this, woman I'm kind of talking to now. I've told her multiple times, you could be more successful than me. You're more intelligent than me. You could accomplish whatever you put your mind to. Is that what you truly want though? Like, what does your heart truly want? And that's what I feel we need to get the clearest on. And if we did get clear, I do think there would be more women that would say, what I truly want is to do a part-time hobby and raise my kids, and what I'm saying makes sense?
Everything you says makes sense. I agree with everything, because especially with women in leadership, I think we need more ladies in leadership.
I agree.
I think that ladies could fix America. I think all the moms collectively could fix America in a week. So yeah, dude, I think that that's why when God created the whole world and man, he looked and said something's missing. And the very last thing God ever created was a lady. And it doesn't mean she's the least, it means she's the most important, because and all the majesty of creation in our world is beautiful. I mean, and even as much as men can do, like we are limited. We need feminine energy. We need ladies' inputs. We need a lady's intuition. They're skilled. They're powerful. They're disciplined. They're strong. They have deeper delayed gratification than most men. And as delayed gratification is a very important trait to have if you're going to be successful in business and sales and in marketing. So anyways, great chat about that. Let's move on to another topic. I think we've given everybody enough dating. I don't want to be known as like the dating doctor here, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just talking about relationships too, which came up. That was part of what my last week's episode too was about vulnerability. Okay. But this was more, Yeah, I think we'll just end it off of, yeah, just do
No,
what's
I
in
can
your
keep
heart.
talking about
Just
it.
do
I
just
can
do
talk
what's
about
in your
relationships
heart.
all day.
Yeah. And I do agree. I think that uh women more in leadership roles in companies is a great thing, just for the different perspective, the different skill sets, the different emotional capacity. If you just look at the power that women have, men are the seekers and women are the selectors. You know,
Ooh,
like women are the selectors and are like our reason for living as a at a biological level for humans is safety and reproduction. Women
wow.
have 50% control over one of those things, you know?
Yes, they do, buddy.
Yeah, they're the selectors. So they have a lot of power there, and men will live their lives oftentimes subconsciously just to get more attention from women, you know? And
Well, and here's the fact, Jeremy. This is a fact. A lady will make or break a man. You can take an average man and you can put the right lady in his life and he will excel. You could take a very successful man and put the wrong lady in his life and it will bring his life down to pretty much almost nothing. When a man has the right lady and vice versa, like we are meant to be co-creators, co-partners. We are meant to, we bring both so many strengths to the table that covers each other's weaknesses. Like, for example, I really believe men don't tap into their ladies' intuition as much as they should. I think that is one of the greatest gifts that ladies bring to a business, to a relationship, to a home is their intuition. And that's what I teach my son. I'm like, hey, if your mom says I don't have a good feeling about that, pause, man, pause, because those words from a mother, I don't have a good feeling. Like, let's say sometimes, hey, we're gonna go to the lake today. I don't know, I just don't have a good feeling about that. Man, I would almost tell a teenager, skip that day. Unless his mother's like this over worrying over like then I would need to talk to the mom to say, hey, like don't put that on your kids. Don't project fear all the time. So, but in those moments, Jeremy, yeah, having a lady in your life, it's tough in me to be single. You know,
yeah.
it's not easy. I believe I would be way more successful if I had the right lady in my life. I know I would. So yeah, I definitely am a believer in that. And tell you this, going back to the church subject, the man that built the biggest church in the history of the world, he built a 100,000 member church before there was technology, before all the opportunity of all the marketing with Facebook and TV and all this stuff. And he did it as a young Korean pastor. Upon his biggest failure, he lost his building. He was living in the church. And he said that he got a vision from God to build his church off all women leadership. And dude, he built his church to 100,000 members by having all ladies in leadership. I'm like, what? Somebody ought to try that.
Yeah. I want to ask you, so we talked about masculinity and male female relationships. What do you
Yeah,
feel like for Caleb, for example?
yeah.
Caleb and people maybe Caleb's age, where do you feel the biggest opportunity for growth and masculinity and just everywhere else in life and business and just operating in life outside of the romantic relationship capacity?
I think young men that are Caleb's age should be doing warrior like stuff. I think, first of all, there's no reason that an 18-year-old young man does not have his body in tip top shape, or at least working on that. So I think any young man listening to me, I think, first of all, do not allow, like, get in the best shape possible, because ladies do respect a man that's in shape. So that's like, and it's not about the ego body. It's just making sure you, as a young man at 18, that helps their psychology. It's not just the lifting weights either. It's stuff like, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I think that every young man should be in some type of martial arts, some type of, like I said, a lot of men don't act and think like warriors anymore. And, that's because we grew up with phones in our hands. We grew up in such an, we're living in houses we didn't build. We're drinking from wells we didn't dig. We grew up in a prosperous America. Most
We
young
have
men
no,
now.
and that's a subject we probably both agree on. We have basically no fucking problems in 2020, so we're creating them right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't get me going on that, Jeremy.
Yeah, when you have no problems, you create them. I mean, that's Jordan Peterson's theory on basically the doom of the entire world civilization is once we reach a point where things are so great, which again, we're far from perfect, but we're actually pretty close to perfect if you compare ourselves to 200 years ago America, 1,000 years ago civilization. We have a lot of good things, especially in the US, and we are creating a lot of problems that
we really are.
Yeah,
Jeremy, I'll tell you another thing young men need. I would say, Caleb, if I was talking to Caleb and all of his friends, they said, give me 5 things that's missing. I would say, number 1, warrior-like activities.
Okay.
Whether it's hikes, whether it's, marathons, whether it's something that pushes you physically, mentally, emotionally. But like I said, martial arts, BJJ, kickboxing, some kind of something that's not just lifting weights. Number 2 would be all the stuff I've been telling you about the alpha gentleman. It would be to slow down and really learn ladies. Not just think of them about sex or they got a hot body or, she's so hot. Like, really learn ladies.
Do you mean learning ladies? Like, I'm assuming you do, but even if it's an older woman, a grandparent, just ladies just in general?
Every lady I meet, Jeremy, I will usually ask the question, what do ladies wish that men really understood? Like, what do you guys really secretly wish men understood about love or relationships? Jeremy, ladies carry all the knowledge. Like, all we got to do is ask them. I tell my son, anytime you get around a lady, ask her questions about, hey, what makes what's the most romantic thing you've heard a guy do for a lady, or what do ladies really want? What do they want? A guy that's, how do you not be like, just ask good questions. Anyways, I'm not going to go there. But Jeremy, real quick, here's what I believe young men need today. I believe young men today are not building movements. They're trying to be, listen, I say this respectfully. The Gary V's, the Grant Cardones, all the social media stars, dude, I don't believe that's the way of the future. I really don't. I don't believe the way of the future is like we keep trying to repeat the same stuff. Like, dude, I teach my young men, Caleb and all his friends, I'm like, guys, be warriors. Change the world now. Get a festival going. Get a movement going. Get an event and pack 10,000 people in it. And go give away, 10,000 bikes to inner city kids. Like, Jeremy, young men need a mission. They need to be radical. They need to, like, they're warriors. Like, if they're not going to go and become in the United States military and do what warriors do, they train. They train for war. They train for saving lives. Like, I think we don't have enough young men fighting for America. I don't think we have enough young men that are fighting for just, we should be fighting the media. I believe Caleb's generation could shut down CNN. They could make it irrelevant. We need more radical. We need more people like Mother Teresa, Steve Jobs. We need world changers. We need people that have vision. We need people that are wanting to really, everybody's like, I want to change the world. BS. Not by the way you run your life and by the way you talk about your vision. Jeremy, everybody wants to be a millionaire. All these we've done that. That's easy. Like that's so old now. Oh, I hit $1 million by this. Okay, cool. But like, I want to hear about the movement you're building. Like Caleb Maddix, Jeremy, if you sat down with him for an hour, that kid is building movements, dude. He's creating stuff behind the scenes every day that's going to revolutionize the brains of millions of children and teenagers. And That's what excites me, that I think is missing from a lot of young men. That's a great opportunity for growth, is bigger vision. But here's the biggest one, Jeremy, is young men are not spending time with masters. Okay, see, Caleb lived with a master. So I did master type stuff. I really was like a Mr. Miyagi. You can ask JC here, who I've been mentoring and training. My training is so unconventional. My techniques are so different. That's why I've created a movement right now called Parents with Passion, and yeah, I will make millions from this because I just created the sickest webinar ever for parents. I really did. And it's the sickest offer in internet history for parents. And it's literally a no-brainer. But anyways, it's not even about the money. It's really not. Am I going to enjoy it? Yes. Am I going to use it? Yes. Do we need it? Yes. Jeremy, money to me is just energy and resources and for the overall vision of what we're all trying to accomplish. Like I'm trying to buy a van for a single mom whose son was killed last year by a drunk driver. She takes the bus 2 hours to work at a smoothie shop and 2 hours home while trying to raise 2 other kids. So I want to hear about young people giving away. Thanksgiving's coming up. I don't see entrepreneurs making no pushes to feed the needy. I think young entrepreneurs should be feeding the needy every week. I think they should be, all this Black Lives Matter stuff. First of all, that's the biggest deception going on in our country right now. Dude, if Black lives really matter to you all, I'll show you where they live, because I've been there. I've been in their neighborhoods, and they're beautiful people. And there is a lot of crime. There is a lot of poverty. Jeremy, I bust in over 100 kids from the worst neighborhood of St. Petersburg to my church. I rented a gymnasium on Saturday nights, and I bought Greyhound buses, and we went into the worst neighborhoods, and we brought these children in on Saturday nights, man. We had so much fun. We fed them. We gave them the most positive messages. We believe in you. We're changing their identity. Dude, and many of them, their moms were hookers. Their dads were in prison. Their lights were turned off. They came to church with their stomachs growling. See, that's why I do believe in the church. I wish the church, none of us would have any bad feeling towards the church if religion didn't get involved.
Yeah.
The church was supposed to be pure. More on that one day down the road, Jeremy. But hear this, Thanksgiving's coming up. I'm thinking about giving away 1,000 turkeys to needy families. I'm thinking I could make that happen. I've done it twice before, and I just don't see young men. I think that they've had it so easy. Success was so easy, and they're still trying to be Gary Vee, and they're still trying to be Grant Cardone. They want as if that's the definition of success dude, that's all an illusion. That's all an illusion. If you're a visionary, you see everything that's been done and you honor it and respect it, but I'm bored with it. I'm not thinking about filling, a stadium with entrepreneurs so they can just hear more teaching. Jeremy, how much more teaching do we need? I'm thinking about filling Dallas Cowboys stadium with single moms and fatherless kids for a weekend and doing yoga and bringing in music and comedy and having breakout groups of, training and giving them tools, giving them courses, giving them each a car. I don't know, dude, we have resources. That's the problem with COVID, in my opinion, is Jeremy, we're corrupt. We have so much poverty. I could take you to homeless teen shelters. I've been in over 100 homeless teen shelters. There's 1.5 million homeless teens in America. Homeless teens, man.
It's crazy.
Youth, the beauty of youth. Youth have so much power. Youth have so much potential. So, I just think what I want to see young men doing Caleb's age and all those entrepreneurs that have the good life, I'm like, guys, you're retired. You're richer than your grandfathers ever thought about being. You have an app for everything. You have an app that delivers you food, groceries. Like, you can order something this morning at 9 a.m. and it be on your doorstep in 2 hours, from any store. Like, you have every social media channel. You have an iPhone. You get anything you want within seconds. You can call anybody in the world for free. Like, there's no problems. So we should be writing books. We should be building movements. We should be feeding the hungry. We should be giving hope to poverty. Listen, you know what I'd love to see Caleb's generation do? I'd love to see them actually honor our veterans. I think America has absolutely done a horseshit job at honoring our veterans. Jeremy, we don't honor our veterans. It's not magical. Again, magic is gone. It's gone in restaurants. Food is horrible. Customer service is horrible. Now everybody's masked up. We got to bring back parties. We got to bring back neighborhood barbecues. We got to bring back festivals. We got to bring back family. We got to bring back Christmas caroling. We've got to bring back passion. That's what's missing from a lot of our young entrepreneurs is passion.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, that's a lot. I had a lot of time to process all that. No, I agree. And that's that. I'm not a, COVID denier or anything, but I have read the stats and it's way blown out of proportion. And so many kids aren't spending time with their friends in school the same way they should be. There's not family gatherings like there should be. I mean, the negatives coming from all this really, in my opinion, outweigh the quote unquote lives we're saving. Like, it's negatively impacting so many people's lives, just telling them they can't interact with their loved ones. Like, how is that going to screw up a 6-year-old kid that, like my buddies, he has 6-year-old twins. They can't even sit next to their friends at lunch. Like, they go to school a whole day. They're yelled at if they're not wearing their mask, and they have to sit by themselves in the auditorium or sit by themselves socially distanced at the lunch table. I mean, they're like, this is very impactful action we're taking for youth. So I do have a major problem with that.
Sad. I mean, and that goes back to that it's because we have a generation of parents that are not warriors.
Yeah.
They are not lion fathers and mother bears, and even business. Listen, what if the opposite happened? What if everybody said, no, we're not doing the mask? I promise you, it'd have been over. The only reason it's still going on is because we let it. We let it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
I agree with the passion, and this is where you may be able to share some insight. Maybe religion is part of it, or spirituality and faith is part of it. But I agree as well. There is a lack of passion, purpose, motivation in so many people's lives. I don't think social media helps. I don't think when we're not able to be present and have conversations with people we care about and love, we just lack love. We lack love, passion, excitement. I mean, there's really something missing from modern humanity. And that's the journey I've been on, is to try to find that within myself. Obviously, maybe one day I'm going to be inspiring other people to do that. But for now, I'm just kind of getting my own house in order. And I've had to find that within myself, like what makes me happy. And I've had to do my best to not bring my phone. I recently decided to turn off all notifications on my phone except phone calls, which has been
good.
I enjoy it. I think it's just think about just being with your friends, grabbing a quick bite, being with a family member that maybe you take it for granted, and they're talking about something and you get a little notification and you glance down on your phone. Kind of like how you did a couple times in this conversation, which is fine because
we on live.
But
these girls wanting to know how they get a hold of you because they really love your vulnerability, man.
No, we always are doing that shit, and it's just think about how that chips away over a life. Like conversations. I looked down at my phone one time in this conversation, I'm not going to lie, which isn't too bad. We've been chatting for a while, but it's just chipping away at our hearts and our ability to connect with people, just everything going on. And then you tell now in 2020, we can't have churches, can't even be like, I'm not even a church guy. I'm just like, what the fuck? Churches can't open? I mean, that's what people look forward to on Sundays.
You are, right, Jeremy? You're on my 30-day challenge, right? So you're going to pray today. You're going to read Proverbs.
Well, I need to get a Bible to read Proverbs, but I can promise you that I'll pray.
Hey, there's an app. They have Bible apps. It's free. I think it's called Holy Bible. Just type in Holy Bible, Jeremy. I would tell you to maybe start with maybe like the Living Bible or the Message. It's a very, very modern interpretation. And just read it. Just read it and then ask God questions out loud.
I'm going to buy a physical copy right now.
Buy a physical copy. You buying one right now?
Yeah, I'm buying one right now.
Jeremy Adams is buying a Bible right now, man. Oh, boy,
I'm just going to, I'll just
sign it when I see you next.
You'll what?
I'll sign it for you.
Yeah.
Heck, I might even baptize you when I see you next, Jeremy.
Remember that ego stuff we were talking about a little bit ago? You'll sign it when you see me? I don't know if I've even said anything like that.
Come on, Jeremy. I love you, dude. I'm actually so proud of you, man. I'm really proud of your journey, dude. You really seem like you're in a good place. You seem like you're in a good place, man.
I would say I feel mentally better than I ever have. Again, always room to grow, but I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm, again, not saying I can't always improve, because I can. There's still affirmations I have to write and say out loud and stuff. There's still some kinks in the armor, but yeah, I'm at a good place. I'm healthier now than I've ever been. I weighed myself this morning. I'm like my lowest weight since high school.
Dad, you look good, bro. You really do, man. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Eating healthier or what?
Combination with daily little workout. I've been intermittent fasting. I order from a meal prep company, so no soda. It's just it's really a lifestyle. It's not.
Dr. Pepper was hard for me to give up.
Soda is good.
Affirmations. I had to create affirmations to stop drinking. And I didn't drink a lot. I just drank 1 or 2 a day, 1 or 2 cans.
Yeah.
With ice.
It's delicious. I mean, that soda was the hardest for me to give up, because I don't drink coffee either. So it's like my caffeine source as well.
Okay. I don't drink coffee much either. Maybe once a couple months,
Yeah.
Depends. I like tea though, dude. Tea's very healthy. Are you a tea drinker?
Every once in a while I do. It's not the healthy kind, but I do like sweet tea.
Okay, well, I don't mind you liking sweet tea, but I could actually get you into tea. And this is very big with the ladies, Jeremy. If you have the ladies over and you're into tea and you make them unique teas and you have some tea knowledge, it's automatically a differentiator, But there is some really good benefits to drinking tea. Hey, what about Kangen water? Have you heard of this? Do you drink it?
No, what's that?
Oh my God, listen, it is a 911 for you to order you a Kangen water machine, because first of all, it gives you the purest 9.5 water that is the purest in alkalinity. And then when you keep your body in alkalinity, look, it's going to make your immune system so strong. You're going to have more energy. You're going to detox. Your mind will be clear. You'll sleep better. But dude, it'll strengthen your immune system. I was so sick in January, Jeremy, that I couldn't move. I couldn't get out of bed. I was so sick, I thought I was dying. I drank 1 gallon of Kangen water, dude, and I was back to normal within.
What's it called? How is it spelled?
Kangen water, Kangen. Dude, you won't listen. It is so clean, so pure. And bro, I'll be honest with you. A lot of people that are getting sick is because they're drinking bad water, dude. And even the water in the plastic bottles, it's not good for you. It's this stuff is really bad for your body. And I know it sounds like, oh, are you overthinking all the water thing? No, I'm not, dude. It is the healthiest water in the world. I'm trying to get one in every homeless teen shelter, or every homeless shelter, and every homeless teen shelter. And I'd love to get one in every church in America, because I'd love to see them at least have it for if homeless people come to church, which doesn't happen much, but anyways, that's for another thing. But if single moms that are working 2 jobs, they could fill up some water for their families to have healthy water, dude. Healthy water. If you sat me down and you said, okay, Matt, top 3, like the health, not weight loss, health. It'd be like sleep. Okay. Sleep. Healthy sleep. Okay. The right water, healthy water, Kangen water. All right. And then just make sure that you, at least when it comes to your foods, your meat's always organic, unless you're just out at some burger joint with some friends, of course. But if you're drinking the right water, and look, Jim, there's no reason that we all can't get in a juice or 2 a day. God gave us fruits and vegetables. So I would say like those 3 little health principles. So I would love to see you try Kangen water, buddy.
Do you just buy one of these machines or like $1,500? I just Googled it.
Message me. I am not what they call distributor or whatever. I'll just make sure you get the right machine. My assistant and this girl that I've been talking to, good friend, good girl. She's really into Kangen water, and they know the best one you need to get. I'll make sure you get steered in the right direction.
All right, bro. Sounds good. So
you need to get one. It'll change your life, dude.
I'll give it a dude. I bought a Bible. Right, let's take baby steps. We'll start with the. Hey, real quick though, is there?
Jeremy's about it. You got a Bible and a water machine on this podcast, folks. Anyways.
God would be really proud. Yeah, I got a water machine and a Bible, so we're good to go. What?
So proud. Hang next, dude.
I want to be respectful of you. Is there any topic or anything you wanted to bring up while we're together?
Look, I would love to talk about sales a little bit. I'd love to talk about writing the book a little bit. I'd love to talk about maybe. What do you think would bring the biggest? Like, who are the majority? Are they entrepreneurs? Are they younger? Are they?
Yeah, I would say it's a lot of business owners, young professionals type.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to talk about sales a minute. I mean, maybe that would be a blessing because everybody could always use a daily, shot of sales inspiration, and of course, all the greats in sales study every day, anyways. And Jeremy, I'm shocked, and I don't mean this. I really don't mean this in any other way than just I'm shocked that we really don't have that great of sales training out there. Still, there is some good stuff, but I still think there's such a famine of good sales training, motivation, whatever you call it. So, Jeremy, I know you're into sales. You used to have this quote say, "Hey, let's sell this." You say it. What was one of your favorite quotes?
I can't remember what quote you're talking.
On my online anymore. I'm trying to do better myself because I do got a lot of children that watch. But yeah, anyways, go ahead. You
tell me. You can give some sales inspiration. Where like. Anybody that's trying to sell anything in life, because this is where I think you can give good insight. So sales is not just about selling products and services. It's also about convincing somebody that this is where you want the vacation to be, or really whatever you want out of life. People that are great in sales are just going to achieve more in life. So
it's exactly what you said. It's anybody can be great at sales the moment, Jeremy, that they understand. First of all, I was talking to Caleb and all his friends about this the other night. I was like, guys, it's all about the inner game of sales. You know that. That first and foremost, there's a belief that you have to possess within yourself that, it starts with there is no failure. There is no rejection. And I know that sounds so cliche, Jeremy, but it's understanding this. That anytime you are trying to sell your idea, your opinion, or your belief, or you're trying to persuade somebody or convince somebody, you're talking to another human. And I don't think enough people remember that. It's like we immediately put these people in this higher position because now all of a sudden we're trying to convince them of something, when I've learned the more natural you can keep it to showing them your enthusiasm and your energy and your belief behind it. Jeremy, when people love enthusiasm, they love it when they're talking to someone who believes what they're saying. Like, any human is inwardly moved by that when they're talking to someone that's like, it goes to like just knowing that, like, hey, I believe in this so much that, like, even Jeremy, one of my favorite things to do is, like, let's say you tell me no. I'll say, well, Jeremy, listen, I actually truly respect you telling me no. I do that too. Like, I literally say no every day in different sales transactions myself. I want to know your real honest truth of the real reason you're saying no. You're not going to hurt my feelings. You're not going to offend me. And I want to ask your permission to still try to convince you to still do it. And dude, I've never had anybody get mad at that. Like, if I ask a girl out and she says no, like, no doesn't mean no. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where it just comes with just, I think, Jeremy, the reason why some people say don't stay stuck in sales is because they don't have enough human interaction. They automatically assume no so many times, because people just are normally wired to assume no, or assume it starts in childhood by us asking our mom, or, asking the police officer if we can get off the ticket, like whatever it is, it comes with not being afraid to ask. So eliminating fear altogether in your life, that's like, do more inner work as a salesperson to live a life of no fear, to live a life of, I'll ask anybody anything. And then I'll ask them again. Hey, what would it take to change your mind? Okay, like, what would stop you from just doing it anyways? Like, and you just keep asking, but not pushy, but because they feel your passion. I think people respond to that better than trying all the technique stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not a big technique guy. I'm not a big, because it's all kind of fake, right? And people are starting to see, especially somebody I'm going to associate myself with is likely going to be intelligent. They're going to see through the games and the tricks. So yeah, I'm not a big technique trick guy at all. It's just about being interested and finding
selling,
out.
Jeremy? Do you personally like selling?
I would say I like closing good strategic partnership opportunities, and I can get really passionate about it if I know it's going to really help them. If it's something that I feel it's like, hey, if we do this deal, your life's going to be better because of it, that enthusiasm will come out of me naturally, and I'll believe it, and they'll know I'm sincere about that. But just selling to sell something I'm not super passionate about, it's not really something that I wake up out of bed excited to do,
Yeah, most people don't.
Which is why my role in my company is, business development and partnerships. I love partnerships because it can typically benefit two or more parties. And like, I love creating value in deals that it's like, hey, not only does this benefit us, I don't want to lie to you and beat around the bush and say it's not going to make us money. It 100% is. But most importantly for you, it's going to do A, B, and C for your business. I mean, what's a better deal than that is if two parties can leave a deal like better than they were when they started. I mean, that's exciting.
You're amazing at partnerships, and you've had a lot of experience, especially, in your years with Kevin Harrington too. What are the top three just basics of to like, okay, if any partnership does these three things, you'll win. What are they?
Are you looking on how do we accomplish and create that partnership, or how to create a successful partnership? Or what are you exactly asking?
Just say, someone that's already in a partnership, like, what are the three secrets to like winning in that?
And I mean, so first of all, it's just like a relationship, right? If it first of all has to be the good partnership to start. So if it's a bad partnership, there's nothing that's going to change that if you're already in it. So having a good filter on the front end, first and foremost, is most important. And and these are the things I'm having to work through myself right now on the romantic relationship side, but it's going into a relationship or going into an opportunity knowing that you're the prize and they're going to benefit, not in an ego way, but they're going to benefit from doing business with you just as much as you're going to benefit from them. And that I don't give a fuck who I'm talking to. I believe that on the business side. There's no company that comes to us that's not going to be benefit. Like, you've met Max, you know me. We're smart, hardworking guys. We've built a great team. You know, any company we work with, they're going to get value. I don't care how big of a check they have.
Yeah.
You know, so it's going in there and not from an ego standpoint, just knowing, hey, I provide value here too, and I'm not going to take a deal that doesn't highlight both of our values. And so that, first and foremost, if you're in any type of partnership that there's just not very clearly defined opportunity for both parties to add that value, and your value isn't like, it's not structured properly where you're able to give that value based on who you are as a person or a company, it's never going to go right, because there's going to be always that deep down animosity, or you're going to feel that it was unfair or whatever it is. So I would say filtering on the front end and knowing your value and worth is probably the most important thing to start with.
I love that, dude. Yeah, and I think too, it's you know, I can't overemphasize the need for emotional health. Emotional health fixes everything, because then you can have any conversation and know that there's going to be disagreements and there's going to be disappointments. And having the emotional health to let go, having the emotional health to not always need to be right, to, like you said, to surrender the ego and let your partner do what they're great at, you know, and let them shine in the area that they shine in, and not have the need to get all the credit or to, you know.
That's a big one too, actually. And I feel that's something I've had to learn a lot of, because if, you know, just my background, I had my company with Kevin, so he was obviously the face. And then Max is more the online personality with our company, and has been for a while. I mean, sometimes part of being successful is not getting any of the credit. Like, and that's really hard for so many people, is because they want the credit, they want the spotlight. And it, you know, that's true discipline, talking about masculinity, right? I believe a part of modern masculinity as well is being able to gladly push the spotlight on somebody else and being okay with that. And a lot of men in particular, I feel it's so important to just know they have the fucking credit. And as I've gotten older, I'm just like, I'd rather have $50 million in the bank with no credit than all the credit in the world. Like, I don't fucking care about credit that much anymore, ultimately. Like, the people that matter, the people that know me and are in our circle, know what I do, know what I contribute. But outside of that, you know, who really cares if the public or a bunch of people I don't know think I did a certain thing or whatever? Like, I used to care. And
maturity. That takes true humility, that takes true maturity, and that takes you being comfortable in your own skin, knowing who you are, knowing that you don't need validation and praise, you know, and that we do need it, you know what I mean? It's like, not need it in that unhealthy way that it's going to cause you to do bad stuff.
Get it from people you trust. I mean, that's what Brene Brown talks about a lot when she talks about criticism. You know, have 10 people in your life you can ask their honest feedback on things. Outside of that, because it's not healthy or truthful to say, I don't care what anybody thinks. That's the biggest load of shit ever. Obviously, everybody cares what people think. It's unhealthy to care about what the whole world thinks, because obviously you're never going to make everybody in the world happy. But if, Matt, you made a list of the top 10 people in your life that you trust their opinion and feedback, and you care about what they think about your new business or your new show or whatever it is, and then outside of that, then it's like, I just don't have the emotional capacity to care about what these rest of these people think. But at least you're getting some honest and truthful feedback from 10 people that you trust or look up to. So, you know, I would say the same for your feedback. You have people in your life that you know you're impacting that give you that validation. But do I need validation from this person on social media that kind of likes my posts from time to time? No, I don't. I mean, and if I start craving that, then I'm the one really giving up the control, which is what we kind of started off the conversation with. I'm out of control if I need validation from somebody I don't know. I'm out of power.
Dude, it needs to be talked about more, especially with young entrepreneurs, because a lot of them don't know the power of finding that inner strength, and they want their validation from their likes, who they're with, and there's this inner unrest with them. And if they're not with the name, or they're not on the big, whatever, and there's just too much of that. There's too much of that. And I think it's really limiting our young entrepreneurs from being what they're meant to be. But I'm trying to get my computer not to die, Jeremy. So how much time do we got here, buddy?
I mean, we can finish it off now, man.
Bro. I mean, I'll come on anytime. I'm sure you're
followers. Yeah, is there anything? Tell me what you want to promote. Is there anything you want to drive some peeps to?
Jeremy, I'll tell you this. If anybody listening wants to write a book, just tell them to go to Maddix Publishing and just watch the video.
All right.
That's on there, and take some notes, write some questions down, and then if they're serious about writing a book and they want to talk to somebody to maybe get those questions answered, or they're actually looking for a done for you service. But see, we're not just into publish a book. That's so easy. We can get someone's book done in under 90 days, or you can get the book done in a week if you want, a day. But the average author gets it done anywhere from about 45 to 90 days. But it's what happens after the book. That's our highest focus, is really, 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 really training people how to really, really, really use their book, their message. So a lot of our authors are also, entrepreneurs. They're speakers. They want to have movements. We have people leading major movements. Casey Adams came into Maddix Publishing. We have a lot that's just not writing a book. It's how to get on the biggest stages, how to sell from stage. Caleb's got his social media training in there. Ryan O'Donnell, who did Dean Graciosi's Millionaire Success Habits. They were selling like 15 to 30 copies a month. When Ryan took over the marketing and they did a free plus shipping funnel, dude, he took it to like 30 million in sales, blew it up, his whole funnel with that. So we really truly want our authors to win, and we're more into the long-term game of mentorship, of accountability, of, step up your game, make sure you're doing your habits, so it's really a family. And then really, Jeremy, anybody that wants to have a real mission trip experience, go to MaddixMissions.com. I do a missions trip every other month in a major city. Got one in Phoenix, got one in St. Pete. You should come, Jeremy.
That'd
just
be cool.
Experience it. And, Caleb comes to these. There's a lot of great people. It's a fun give back. We go serve veterans. We go to homeless shelters. We go into homeless teen shelters, and we bring them food. And, I give a talk. Caleb will give a talk. We do music. It's very powerful. But we also publish books for homeless teens. Now, our biggest mission now is to publish books for teens and fatherless kids for free, and show them how to sell their first 100 copies, what to do with that money, how to manage it, to then take it from 1,000 to 10,000, because we're not educating our troubled youth and our children on how to make money in the modern era. The fact that any parent's even thinking about college now is just so shocking to me. I think it's 911 that we get our youth and our children immersed in the internet world. Every child and teenager should be in the ClickFunnels culture. They should be learning editing, technology, Facebook ads. Dude, the amount of young people that could be making so much money, even running ads, these kids are genius at this stuff. So anyway, that's my feeling, Jeremy. That's what I'd love to promote. And just tell everybody out there, look, forget if they don't want to invest in any of that, just connect with me on social media. I'm always giving practical stuff. My name is Matt Maddix. And I'm just so grateful for you. Enjoyed this, one of my favorites, Jeremy. We always have the best conversations. I can't wait till we hang again, man.
Yeah, I'll see you soon, man. Thanks for coming on.
I loved it, dude. It was a blast. I love you, buddy. So I'll call you soon, man, and we'll catch up and tell your buddy Max that I said hi. You guys are crushing it, dude. You guys having fun still? You guys working with a lot of high level clients?
Dude, we're busier now than we've ever been. I'll take a screenshot and show you some of the revenues we've been doing lately. It's crazy, but it was good having you, bro.
Thank you for listening to Openly Outspoken with Jeremy Adams. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast player so you get updated when new episodes are live. If you enjoyed this episode, the best way to support is to leave a 5-star review and share the podcast with people in your life that you feel would benefit from these types of discussions. Visit openlyoutspoken.com for additional details on the show. Find out how to connect with Jeremy on social media and learn more information about Jeremy's personal and business life. We'll see you next time.